We're going to use our little ball today. Let me pin it. There we go. So just our small little ball.
I don't get that drunk.
All right, you guys, we're going to start standing. So I'm wearing tennis shoes today only for the first part of this because I bruised a little bit of ball on my foot. So, so for my standing, I'm gonna be wearing the shoes. Obviously, that's not necessary.
I was wondering why you.
I know. I still have my shoes on. Okay, so we're just going to stand. We're going to take the ball. We're going to place it right on our low belly. We're going to bring our hands right in front. We're just going to do some breaths to start. So as we exhale, I want you to think about just putting a little gentle pressure into the ball and feel the belly tighten underneath it. Feel it flatten. Exhaling out all the air. Inhale, kind of release the ball just a little. And again, exhale. So you're drawing some energy into the ball. And as you draw the energy into the ball and exhale, make sure that you're not rounding the shoulders forward. So we're kind of pulling the shoulders back. We're pulling our underarms down, feeling that low belly flatten, really getting into just some nice connection to the belly. And exhale. Inhale. And exhale. Are you guys here on Monday? My hamstrings were sore. They're still sore. I'm like, what did I do?
My glutes.
And your glutes, yeah. All right, we're going to come out of that. All we're going to do here is we're just going to take the hands. We're going to roll the ball down as far as they can go. We're just going to do some little curl forwards. We're just going to dip our chin to our chest. We're going to keep the ball against the legs as we walk it down towards the knees. Find that place where you start to feel that stretch through the back. And then as we exhale, pull up on the belly and start rolling that ball all the way back up as we stack our vertebra all the way back into the straight position. We're just going to do that 2 more times. And roll it down, rolling that ball down. And pull up on that belly. And stack up that vertebra 1 more time. And curl forward. And pull it up. And come back to standing. And you're just going to roll that ball over to the right side of your body. My hand is just going to be on the outside of that ball. So what I'm going to think about here is keeping my center. So I don't want to bend my body here. All I want to do is I want to keep my underarm drawing down towards my hip as I gently draw into the ball, almost like I'm pulling my inner underarm towards my body. That's my exhale, inhaling with release. And exhale again. So I'm keeping my spine nice and straight. Inhale. And exhale. Still feeling my belly flatten, drawing straight across from hip bone to hip bone. Inhale. Do 3 more of those. And exhale. Exhale. And 1 more time. Then just a little release. We're going to take that other arm out to the side, and we're going to roll that ball down towards that knee as we bend over to the side. Nice big stretch. And then rolling it back up as we come back to straight. We'll do that again. Up and over. And nice and straight 1 more time. And up. Roll that on over to the left side. And we're going to start with those little presses. Again, keeping my body nice and straight. I'm just going to exhale, reach down through the ball as I press in. So my arm is reaching down. Inhale, release. Exhale, I'm thinking about that inner arm kind of drawing to the body. And exhale, everything is tightening. 3. 2. And 1 more time. And then releasing the ball, arm out. I'm just going to do this. Nice little stretches up and over to the side, rolling that ball down the side of your leg. And coming back up to straight. Up and over. And 1 more time. back up. Good. All right, we're gonna take that ball. I'm gonna place it on the, in between my legs, kind of up in the middle, right? Not too close to the knee, but more up in that inner leg. Find a place where you have a little connection to the ball. So it does have a little squeeze to it. And we're just gonna kind of hang out there. We're gonna go into some squats. So as I press my hips behind me, I'm gonna reach those arms out in front. And then as I exhale, I'm gonna give that ball a little squeeze, even deeper as I come back up to this straight position, feeling my low belly. Inhale, sending my hips behind me. Exhale, pressing down through my legs as I come up. And just giving that ball that little tiny bit of a squeeze as we're coming up. Inhale. And maybe feeling a little your glutes. Obviously, feeling your quads. And if you think about the arms, pressing down and then take the arms back, feeling maybe a little of the tricep. Inhale and exhale. 3, 2, sitting back into that chair. 1. We're going to come back to that chair sit, and then we're going to just stay, and we're just going to do little pulses. And I want you to try to stay more into your heels here and find your glutes to pulse. And yes, you're in your quads, but try to find that back end as well. 4, 3, 2, 1. Quads, everything waking up. All right, so from here, hands can be on the hips, wherever's comfortable. We're just gonna roll up onto our toes. We're gonna keep that connection to the ball, maybe even give it a little bit more. So we're gonna gently squeeze into that ball as we lift onto those toes, and then lower back down, and exhale. So as you squeeze onto the ball, you should still be able to draw that energy right into that lower belly. Up. And 5, 4, 3, 2. We're going to hold it on the last one. Hold it up there. Maybe don't go as high. Arms come down. We're going to go back to those little squats. So we're going to bend, staying on those toes, and stand. And bend. And stand. Whew. Being in shoes and on the mat. Wow, this is hard. And squeeze that ball as we come up. 2 more. And standing tall, giving that ball a squeeze, come back to that little chair sit, maybe not as deep, and go right back into those pulses, still on those toes. Pulse into those glutes. Squeeze that ball a little bit more. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. All the way to standing. Whew. All right. Is this good? All right. So just a little bit more on the way of balance, a little bit more on the way of inner leg. So you're going to kind of shift your weight over to one side, and then you're just going to pick up that other foot off the floor. All right. So from here, staying balanced on that single leg, we're going to exhale, squeeze that ball. Inhale, release, and exhale. That was 3. And 2. And 1. And we set that leg down. Shift that weight to that other side. Pick up that foot off that floor. Squeeze. And it's okay to feel that, kind of ankle shifting about. And that's kind of what it's about. Body trying to find that place of balance using those smaller muscles. Last one. And come back and set that down. All right. I'm just going to do one thing. So take a little break, stretch for just a minute. All right. So we're going to come down to our mat. So just whatever way you want, we're going to still keep this ball and we're going to come down onto the back and we're going to place that ball underneath that right heel. And we're going to come to our forearms. So kind of warming up the abdominals here. So from this position, I'm going to take my left leg, I'm going to bring it up to a tabletop, and I'm going to really think about my upper body here. So be careful that you're not going to sink into the shoulders. We want to press down through those kind of forearms and elbows, lift that chest, kind of feel like you're pulling yourself up out of the arms. And then from here, I'm going to slide my right leg all the way out on that ball. And as I bring it back in, I'm going to switch my leg position and reach it out and in. So we've got a nice little support on that ball. So this is just a nice little warm up of those abdominals. Keep your chest lifted. Scoop up that belly. And we're going to do this again. Hold that leg in, bend the other leg into tabletop. Now both legs are going to extend out at the same time, but my left leg is going to stay a little higher than my right. Inhale back in. Exhale. And reach. Check in with your chest, your shoulders. 2 more. Bring it back in. I'm going to keep my foot on the ball with my right. I'm going to extend my left leg to the ceiling. I'm just going to lower it and lift it. Again, I'm concentrating on keeping my upper body lift out of my shoulders. Pulling my belly in, maybe feeling that little scoop. 2, we're going to lift and hold, and we're going to go into a little circle here with that leg. So you want to try to keep your body nice and straight here. Your back starts bothering you, press that low back into the mat. We're coming up, we're reversing that direction. One more. Both feet down. Go ahead and press that ball out, lower yourself down and reach those arms up overhead for a nice stretch. And you can do this all the way down on the mat. Don't do roll that ball on over to that other leg, that other heel. Bring back up to your forearms. You can, if it's too much, just take your forearms out and lay down. All right, so from here, as I pull my left leg back in, I'm going to send my right leg out. And in. So switching those legs, still thinking of keeping lifted out of my upper body. And 2. And 1, keep that other leg in. Bring that other leg to tabletop. And now both legs extend to straight. Right leg is a little higher than that left. Two more. Last one. In. I'm going to keep my left leg on the ball. I'm going to extend my right leg up, and I'm just going to lower and lift. You were here on Monday. You feel those hamstrings stretching as I do this part. And last one, we're going to lift and we're going to circle. One more. Reversing. Last one. Both feet down, send that ball out, stretch that body.
Thanks for the moaning.
Reach those legs nice and long out of those hips. Up to that body, to that belly. All right. Pull that ball back in, and then we're going to come all the way onto our side. So I'm going to place that ball kind of between my knee area, but a little higher than that. And then I'm going to lay all the way down. So in this position, all we're going to start with is keeping our heels together. And I'm just going to squeeze that ball. And then I'm going to do like a little clam, and I'm only lifting the knee to where I can keep the ball between my legs, right? You don't want to lift it up so high, the ball rolls away. So you're going to exhale, squeeze the ball, inhale, up to that little clam. So my heels are together. Inhale, clam it up, and exhale, squeeze. So we're going to be working a lot with rotation of the leg and the hip. Kind of we're going to be building, right? One more time, just like this. Now just let yourself kind of relax. You're going to now take your feet apart. And all you're going to do here is you're just going to internally rotate as you press the knee into the ball. You're going to feel your foot kind of come up towards the ceiling as you internally rotate into the ball. And then you're just going to bring that foot, maybe tap those heels, and then do it again. Bring that foot down, tap those heels, and internally rotate, pressing into that ball. So you want to try to keep those hips nice and level. A lot of work here through this outer hip. Let's do 3, 2, 1. Back, we're going to take that ball, and now we're going to place that ball under our waist. And I'm going to come to my forearm. So again, I've got support under the waist, which is actually, it feels great, right? I'm going to take, my other hand is going to come in front, kind of like that little kickstand. And I'm just going to separate my top leg from the bottom. And I'm going to go right back into that same internal position, but now I'm going to reach the knees together. And then I'm just going to open it up to a clam, but my heels are not touching. So I'm just going to lower on my internal, lift on my external. On the external, and lower, and lift. 3, 2, 1, come back up, hold. Right? So from this one, we're going to internally rotate that knee again, but we're going to try to reach it in front of the other knee, tapping the floor. Now we're going to take that foot and send it straight up and out, trying to keep that internal rotation. Pull in, tap, press out. Pull in, tap, press out. And even though my leg doesn't look like it's internally rotated because I have problems with internal rotation, I am feeling big internal, right? Big internal. So I'm feeling like my leg is rotating. 2. Last one, we stay extended. Now, internally rotate, we tap the foot forward. Externally rotate as we lift up. Internal, external. Internal and external. And 3, 2, 1. And we bring it down. Ooh, oh, feeling that. Feeling that. You have it? Isn't it nice to know we have hips? All right, we're going to stay on the ball. We're going to change it. Legs are not doing anything, right? Legs are just staying where they're at. We're going to take our arm, we're going to lay back down. So I am arched over that ball with my waist. My kickstand hand is going to come into play here. So I need to make sure I have that hand in front of me in that kickstand position, because what's going to happen is as I lift off my arm that's underneath me, I'm going to push down that kickstand arm, and I'm going to feel my oblique, right? So I'm going to feel right here, and exhale, and inhale, exhale, and inhale. And obviously, the more you push through that hand, the higher you can lift that body, the more you're going to feel that oblique. And up, 3 more, we're doing 8, and 3, 2, 1, we're holding and we're pulsing. 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Whew, lower down. Stretch that arm up overhead. Nice big stretch. Warming up. All right, then we're going to come up. We're going to switch sides. From class this morning when you do this. All right, we're going to come back. And we're going to go onto that other side. We're going to place that ball again, right in between those two. And we're going to lay it down. So from here, my heels are together. I'm just rested in my upper body. And I'm just going to squeeze the ball. So I'm going to exhale, squeeze that ball. Inhale, coming into that little clam, but just high enough where I can keep the ball in place. And exhale, squeeze. Clam. Just did that a little too high. Move it up higher. You can open wider. Then you can open wider. The ball is up a little higher in those inner legs. Up. Inhale. Or exhale as we squeeze. I'm sorry. Inhale as we clam. And 3, 2, and 1. And now coming back to just that comfortable position, lift the heel to begin. Right? So all we're going to do here is our internal rotation. So we're going to internally rotate, pressing the knee into the ball. The leg or the foot is kind of coming up. And then I'm going to lower that heel, kind of tap my other heel. And again, exhale, internally rotate into the ball. And squeeze on that exhale. Inhale, tap, exhale. Inhale, tap, exhale. Nice internal rotation. Don't have an occurrence to get a lot of internal rotation. So if it feels hard or sore, that's normal. We don't really work a lot of these muscles. Let's do 2. And 1. Good. All right. So from here, we're going to take that ball away. We're going to place it underneath the waist, coming onto the forearm. And then we're going to take that top leg and we're going to lift it up. We're going to go right back into that same internal rotation, right? We're going to internally rotate, and then we're going to open to our clam, but our heels are not touching. Internally rotate and wide open clam, and down, and open, and down. Try to stay lifted up and out of the waist. Got the support there, but try not to sink into the ball. Try to stay lifted. And 3, 2, 1. And now we do the same thing with the internal rotation, but we take the knee in front, and then we press that heel up and out. And down and in. And in. So again, really trying to feel that internal rotation, even though it may not look like it, right? Especially for someone like me. And 3, 2, One we're holding, last one here, we internally rotate down, tap, externally rotate and lift. Internal and external. And down and lift, 3 more, 3. External to lift, 2. Last one. Bring that in. Get that. Yes, you start feeling it a little bit in that hip flexor. It's really hard to rotate and lift on that external. Yeah. This is where a lot of that is coming from. So that's absolutely correct. All right, so we're going to come over that ball. Palm faces the ceiling as we lean onto the arm. We have that kickstand, right? So we're going right into that oblique. So from here, we use that kickstand arm. Exhale, lift that arm up under the head, finding that oblique. Inhale down. And exhale. And the more you press through that kickstand arm, the higher you get, the more oblique you find. And this is 4 more. And up. 3, 2, and 1. And go down. Stretch that arm up overhead. Nice big stretch through this oblique, through this waist. And then we are going to come all the way up. And we're just going to turn onto your back. All right, so we are just going to turn onto the back. And we're going to lay all the way down. We're going to go into some little bit more in-depth abdominal here. So we're going to start nice and simply. We're going to place that ball in between those knees again. Find that position of your feet that is natural with the ball there. And maybe have just a tiny bit of tension on that ball. And so from this position, we're going to go into our little scooping. We've done this many, many times before where we think about our 6 o'clock, we zip it up to our 12 o'clock. But this time we're going to add that little squeeze to the ball. So as you exhale, zip that 6 to the 12. My pelvis is tipping back. I'm scooping my belly and I'm squeezing the ball. And then inhale, I'm releasing the squeeze of the ball as I let that pelvis just naturally come back to its neutral. Exhale, squeezing the ball, scooping the belly. Inhale. And this should almost feel relaxing. And, obviously make this a little bit more challenging if you put a ton of squeeze onto that ball, a ton of scoop, right? You can also make this a little bit more of just a release as well by not squeezing as hard, maybe not scooping as deep. Do what you feel your body needs. Let's do 4. 2, and 1. You're going to take those hands, bring them behind your head. And from here, we're just going to add our curl up. We're going to keep those legs down, but the only difference is as we curl up, we're going to add that squeeze to the ball. Inhale, release the squeeze of the ball as you curl down. Exhale. Try to think of lifting with your chest, with your heart, increasing right underneath the chest as we curl forward. Let's do 3. And 2. And 1. Bring those legs to tabletop. Flex those ankles. We're going to curl up again. This time we're going to take the legs out to extension, but we're going to squeeze that ball just a little. Remember, these are not big. Exhale, curl up, little squeeze onto the balls and press those legs out to straight. Inhale as we come back in. And exhale. Try to really think of flattening that low belly. Let's do 3. And 2. And 1. All the way in. You're just going to take that ball, place it between your heels. You're going to lower that head and lift those hands to the ceiling. Thumbs are going to touch. So they're right above. If I were to draw a wall up from right under my chest, that's where my arms are going to begin. I'm going to keep the ball right where it's at. I'm going to curl up again, reach through, kind of like I'm reaching my fingertips towards the ball. Inhale, curl down. Let's do 5 of these. And up. And 3. Keep that pelvis heavy. 2. And 1. Curl down, adding those legs to extension. So this time as we curl up, hands come towards the knees. Inhale back to frog. Exhale. And 3 more. 2. And 1. Coming back in, you're going to grab that ball, set those feet down. We're going to take that ball right underneath, kind of underneath the bra strap area. Right? So just maybe right at it or just underneath it. Our hands are going to come again behind the head. And we're just going to let our upper body reach over that ball to a nice big stretch. You should feel the stretch down through the belly. Let yourself kind of relax. And if this feels like it's arching the back too much, move the ball up a little bit more towards the shoulders. I want this actually to be more in your upper back stretch, not lower, right? Ribs are going to open here, of course, because you have the ball behind them. That's fine. So we're going to keep those feet down. Just a little bit more. Okay. So from here, I'm going to kind of scoop my belly. And as I do, I'm going to curl up. So as I come to my curl here, my low back is pressing into the mat. My 6 o'clock is zipping up towards my 12. And then I'm going to take my pelvis back to neutral as I reach my upper back over that ball. And exhale, scoop the belly. Curl up. I'm looking right into my belly. It's totally hollowed. Inhale. And exhale. Neutral. Scoop. Neutral. And scoop. Let's do 2. On the last one, we're going to hold that. So you're going to curl up, you're going to scoop. We're going to come onto just our toes. Just our toes. And then from here, I'm going to exhale and I'm just going to lift one knee towards the chest. I'm going to keep my scoop as I lower it down, switch to the other side. Inhale, exhale. Inhale, exhale. Up. One more each side. Lower it down, reach that upper back over that ball, and just let it rest. Nice deep breath in. And out. One more. Inhale. And exhale. All right, we're going to curl up again. From here, I'm going to lift both my legs to tabletop. I'm going to start with a nice little extension of one leg. And then I'm just going to switch them. So just like what we were doing earlier in class. Switch. Switch. Try to keep yourself curled up. One more each side. Both legs back to tabletop. Lower those legs down. Let your upper back reach. We're getting there. We're almost there. All right. So coming back up, scoop the belly, curl up with that upper back. We're going to take those legs to tabletop. I'm going to take my left heel and place it right kind of on top of the right ankle. Go into a little bit of an external position. So my left leg is on top. From here, keep my scoop, exhale, both legs press out. Inhale back in, exhale. And in, two more, 2, and 1. Come back to your frog, switch those legs, press out. Keep that scoop. 2 more. Come back in, set those feet down. Whew, those were tough. Press that head, take those hands out from behind that head. Roll yourself up so that that ball is almost to the neck. Me, I'm gonna have to actually move the ball. Actually put it on the neck. Is it your tailbone? I was like this. So the ball is kind of behind the neck, kind of on the head. I'm just gonna open my arms, palms up. And then from here, slide my legs all the way together. Nice close chain in between those inner legs. And I'm just gonna tip my pelvis, lifting off my 1 foot and hip. I'm gonna twist those legs over to the side. And then we're gonna pull those legs back. And then I'm gonna tip them over to the other side. Again, lifting off my foot, off my hip on that one. Bring it back up. We're just gonna do that one more time on each side. Tip. And lift. And we're gonna tip. All right, we're going to actually come up. We're going to come all the way to standing. I'm going to put the ball away for right now. And I'm going to do this part on the mat. Just because we're going to get a little bit of a hip flexor stretch too, which is nice because we've been using a lot of those hip flexors, but we're just going to do it from a nice little tight position. So from here, we're going to roll down like we were doing a roll down. We're going to bring our hands to the mat and walk them out. We're not going to go to plank yet, so don't worry about that. We're going to tip our chin, we're going to curl down. And if you need to, you can bend the knees, take those hands to the floor, walk them out to a point where you're in a pike position. All right. So I'm going to try to get my back nice and flat, kind of my head between my ears. I'm going to find that place that feels good in that position. I'm going to take my right leg, slippery. I'm going to take my right leg and I'm externally rotate. I'm going to lift it to the ceiling and tip my hips in that direction. And I'm going to pull my heel towards my sit bone. I'm going to get that stretch through the front of my leg, my front hip. And then I'm going to rotate back, send that foot to the floor. Let's do that on the other side. I'm going to lift that other leg, externally rotate. Rotate my hips in that direction. Send my knee behind me, like I'm reaching it behind me, pulling my heel towards my sit bone. And bring it back. And then I'm just going to go into a nice deep pike position. And then I'm going to pull myself into my plank. And I'm going to walk my hands out just a tiny bit. I don't want them directly underneath me. And then from here, I am just going to bend one elbow. I'm going to bring it to the mat. Then I'm going to bend the other elbow as I come to the mat. Okay, hold. I'm going to lift my first elbow up, press to that hand, and walk it back up to plank. Now I'm going to do the other side. So I'm going to bend, hold my little forearm plank for a moment, and then I'm going to lift and lift. Other side. Bend, Then hold my little forearm plank and lift and lift. Bend, bend, lift, lift. We just have one more each direction. And bend, bend, lift, lift. One more. Bend, bend, lift, lift. Lower those knees, bring those feet together. Right back into a little child's pose. Stretch that back. And then we're going to come all the way back up, and we are just going to lay back down with that ball. So when you're ready, just laying down on your back, grabbing that ball. We're going to finish up class. We're going to release that spine again. So we're going to place that ball between the knees, and you're going to do some bridging. Nice and easy bridging. So, do what's good for your body. Feel released. So I'm going to start small. I'm going to zip up my 6 o'clock to my 12. I'm going to feel my pelvis tip. I'm just going to curl up. Nice, easy bridge. I'm not going to go too high. Then I'm just going to release that vertebra again. Back to the mat. All the way through to neutral. Feeling the weight come into the back of the pelvis. I'm going to inhale while I hold. Exhale, scoop. Curl up. And again, exhale. And release it back to neutral. Let's do 2 more of those. One more time. All the way down to neutral. I'm going to actually bring my feet a little closer together so that I can have a nice connection to that ball. I'm going to pull my feet back as far as I can so that I can come onto my toes. This isn't a super high heel. It's just lifting the heels off the mat. That's it. So not anything major here. And then we're going to go back to those scoops and curl up to a bridge, but we're going to squeeze that ball at the same time. So we're going to take a nice deep breath in. As you exhale, start to squeeze the ball as you scoop the belly, curl up. Now find that nice high bridge. Feel those glutes connect underneath you. Lengthen through the fronts of those legs like you're reaching those knees over the toes, and curl back down. Just cramp through your calf. Stretch that out. And come back up to those toes and scoop it up. Squeezing that ball as you scoop it up. Nice high bridge, squeeze those glutes behind you, and slowly release. And up. All the way up, little squeeze on that ball. And curl. 2 more times. And up. And curl down. Last one. And curl down. Taking that ball out. Just go ahead and lengthen those legs, kind of give them a shake out. Just finish this up. So we're going to come back. We're going to place that ball between those heels again, and we're going to set those feet back down. So from here, again, let's start with feet flat. Let's do 3 here with feet flat. So I'm in my kind of natural external position because I'm holding onto the ball with my heels. So it automatically puts me into that little baby. And then from here, let's not scoop, right? Let's just keep our body perfectly straight. And it's more like a hinge. So I'm going to take my pelvis, I'm going to press it straight to the ceiling. Feel those glutes connect, right? Keep my body long. So I'm going to lead with the back of my glutes, lower down. I'm going to tap the floor and lift it right back up. Down and lift. One more. Down. Right? So if you want to stick with that, you can, making this a little higher, a little tougher. We're going to come again to those toes, pull those heels into that ball. So now the ball and the heels are just slightly lifted off the mat. We're going to do the exact same thing. We're going to exhale, press straight up. Okay, so I'm on my toes. I'm going to lead with my glutes, lower down, tap and lift. Tap and lift. Doing a little bit more this time. Tap and lift. This is 3. We have 3 more. 3, 2, 1 more. And now lift. I'm sorry. I'm lifting one more time. And then I'm going to pulse it up. Squeeze that ball in between those heels. Make sure those heels are lifted. And 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And lower all the way down. Awesome job, guys. Take that ball away. Open those legs out to a nice wide stance. So almost as wide as your mat. The ball is just going to kind of go away wherever you can place it right now. And from here, we're going to do kind of that outer hip again one last time, and then we're going to stretch. So we're going to just take our pelvis, lift it up to the ceiling. We're in a wide open position. And then from here, I'm going to take my legs and I'm going to open them out. Almost like I'm pressing the legs open. So we're getting back into this outer hip where we were earlier in class today. Keep the pelvis up, so using those glutes to really kind of press that pelvis to the ceiling. Let's do 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and lower down. And reach those legs all the way out. Arms up overhead. All right. We're going to curl up, and then we're going to sit. So arms to the ceiling. We're going to start to lift our upper body. Look at those toes. Curl up. Stretch forward. And then come all the way to seated. And we are going to sit in a butterfly position. So we're going to be sitting with those soles of the feet together. I'm going to grab onto my ankles, kind of pull up. So I'm straightening my spine, like I'm pulling it to as straight as I can. And then I'm just going to let those knees open as much as possible, feeling a little stretch to the inner leg, groin area. Utilize those muscles a lot today. And then as we release, I'm going to turn to my left leg. I'm going to keep the left leg bent as I send my right leg behind me. Right? So that, I think some people call this pigeon. Right? So coming here, you can stay lifted. For me, when I stay lifted on my hands and I take my hip bone and I kind of press it down, I feel that nice stretch all the way up into my little psoas, top of the hip flexor area. It feels really, really good. But I also feel this on the leg that's bent in the hip, right? So I can get both of those. If this is too much for one side or the other, just go ahead and tip to that hip, maybe work on just that hip flexor stretch right here. And then we're going to roll onto that hip. We're going to come back to our butterfly. Give yourself a nice little stretch up. And then releasing that, we're going to go right onto that other side. Work on getting that hip, pressing it down, feeling that psoas stretch. hip on the other side. This is my tight side on my hip. So I really have to focus on sinking into that right hip, the one that's bent. And then releasing that, coming back to your butterfly one last time, grabbing those ankles, sitting nice and tall, dropping those shoulders down. All right, you made it through. Thank you. Bye.